Well, hello there everybody, welcome to the YouTube video here on the channel. My name is Emily. Today we are at Duisburg, Lzb on the Haupstreke Rheine-Ruhr route. We're taking over this rather gorgeous express liveried in, well, this express loco, the DBBR 101, for a journey from here down to as far as Bochum. I'm going to turn the AFB on, I'm going to get in the driver's seat, I'm going to set a bit of brake key off. Reverse is already in by the left and by the last driver, put it in neutral. Being shouted at, that's fine. We are due off here at 29 minutes past, so that's 25 seconds. So we'll do a cab 2 onto away, but actually I'll just set my red, so set my AFB to about that. That looks about nice. That's one of the harder things about using actually I'm not going to use AFB stuff. I'll do it manual. So I'm just going to turn the AFB off. AFB does sort of feel like I'm cheating a little bit when I use it, if I'm honest. It's one of those things. So, 1929, let's lock the doors. That's off, that's that. I've got the road. Would help if I was in forward, wouldn't it? There we go. And away we go. So, one thing to note, this thing slips like anything. As an example, with most German locos you can generally go into full power and they won't slip. This one does, so I'm just going to pull my power back to about that point. So, on PCB restricted monitoring, but we're against a green signal, so we can clear that. And we are starting off at 100 is our speed limit in the platform. That increases to 150 pretty rapidly, so we can actually just accelerate straight to 150. I'll adjust the microphone for a second. I'm sorry. There we go. So as we're moving away, we can sort of just take a moment to look around the cab. This is pretty much the daddy, if you like, to the 145, 185, all the sort of tracks locos. So you can see a lot of similarities in the layout. So you got this is sort of the late 90s, whereas the Traxxas are also 2000. So you can see you've got the initial digital screens either side. Let's see if I can get it in power down. I can't. That's fine. We've got the Ebola screen. We've got the traction effort screens. We've got left to right. We've got circuit breaker, fan, PZB controls, pantograph, train line. Reverser, AFB, throttle. Tractor effort gauge. Let's just confirm. I'm going to probably have to ease off the power slightly. No, I'm not. We're through the 150, so you can just go full power now. That's the door controls. Sander. Headlights are that one. So I just show this is headlights. So I always kick those fully forward. And that because it's a dusk drive, so it's nice to have sort of full headlights on. Makes it a bit more obvious. Brake control, so train brake control, electric brake control, so static brake, independent brake, and the horn control. Only has one tone. Yeah, that is pretty much the cab on this train. The headlight controls are behind us. I'll show you those when we stop at Essen, which is our next stop, by the way. We're due there in approximately 8 minutes. So we'll keep moving. And we'll just go now that we're at 150, I'm going to pull the power right back off and we'll just coast for a while. So yes, it's actually really quite nice to see the Hauptstreke Rheine-Ruhr route. Yeah, it's Essen next time, right? Just wanted to double check I had the right service. The Hauptstreke Rheine-Ruhr route being, getting some love. This is one I actually worked on when I was at DTG. Unfortunately, my scenarios didn't get used for reasons I'm not going to discuss. All I'm going to say is it was actually nothing to do with the scenarios themselves, so it wasn't my fault basically. That's what I'm going to say, it's not a case of me being a bad dev. Although my scenario that was used in a PTG's video broke, which is great news, great success. Get the speed back down to 150, going a bit quick. I'm going to turn the power off, unlock it, back into minimum, just a bit of juice on, just to keep us moving. We are now going to be approaching Mulheim Ruhr West. Well, it's Mulheim brackets Ruhr West, so I'm not sure really what the layout of that is. Let's see if I'm pressing a BR425 on the head-on there, which is a Nicht Einsteigen, which is basically not going anywhere. It's the blank destination screen. And we've got a 155 on a freight train, which is some tankers, some coals, and a rail freight wagon in there. Heck. That's not the game being but broken. That is, it's an HEA. That's a mod I put in. I put in a substitution mod that basically allows more locos to be used. It's Muff's substitution mod that breaks the substitution system. Basically lets you use pretty much anything you want, which is quite nice. So we're now approaching. This is sorry, that was Mulheimer Sturm. This is Mulheimer West. We've got the 110 warning. The 110 is on approach to the next station, so I'm just going to put a bit of brake on, and we'll get down to that 110. What I've found when I've been doing German route learning is it's always easier just to put a bit, slow down a bit sooner, get ahead of the train, and it generally, especially in the way train sim world works, that stands you in good stead. It's probably better to be 20 seconds late than it is to be 20 seconds early, put it that way. There's the 110. I'm actually going to start accelerating now because we go straight through 130 at the end of the platform. You can hear that high-pitched squealing as the wheel spins, so that's one of the indicators that we've got wheel slip going on. Now it's the 130, there it is. Try and ease off the throttle for a second. 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, back up to 110, so we'll correct to 130. Let's see. So that is a cautionary signal. I'm going to kill the throttle off. I'm going to just slow down at 85 miles an hour. I've got 25 seconds to do so. So 85 kph, I've got 25 seconds to do so. I always find it's definitely for the best to get slowed down sooner rather than later. There we go. There's 80. I'm going to put the power back in and just keep going along. Okay, yeah, that's at 75 we're doing. So just going to get the speed up a little more, just so we get the. As soon as I'm fairly sure I'm fairly sure we're not going to get held, but it's always worth noting. There's a 160 for us to go to. Yeah, so can I clear that? I can. So you can see green aspect ahead that applies to us, so we can put the hammer down. And we're going up to 160 now. Yes, the DBBR 101s are pretty awesome little locos. I really quite enjoy driving it. See, what I like about it is it's about my era for locos. It's actually quite difficult to drive. As I say, the wheel slip is quite difficult, but it also has that ability to go nice and fast. And you can, like, especially when you're driving with that AFB, you do have to sort of think about what you're doing, and that is quite nice. There's a certain bit of je ne sais quoi. So I'm not sure how realistic I believe the handling is of the train. I'll say as much, but yeah, it's pretty nice. It's pretty enjoyable. That's what I'll say. It's pretty enjoyable. So you can see we're cruising down the fast lines here. I'm just going to coast it now. So yes, also, well, since I've last made a video, Train Sim World has announced the Rush Hour. Train Sim World 2 Rush Hour has been announced. I'm pretty confident I know what that is, but you see, I'm using my former insider knowledge to deduce what it is, and I just don't want to say it. When I cough. There we go. So yeah, and also actually this is a nice sort of drive, I think. But there's a thingy going. to this station that we need to brake from. I'll just put a little bit of brake on already, actually. And that is Essen-Fronhausen station on the right. There's our 130 warning, so I'm going to just clear that. And stand on the brakes. Also, this DLC actually brings with it some intercity coaches, which are the first coaches, the first German passenger coaches we have in the game that are on DOS docs, which is great. Yeah. Oh, definitely a bit too slow now. That's Essen Depot on the right. So unfortunately, this route was made with quite a rush, which is why things like depot services haven't been done. Yeah, I overcooked that braking. Got a 110 warning. And actually, we're coming against a cautionary signal here on the approach to Essen, so we're going to acknowledge it, and then we're at 90, so just a gentle brake application until it goes down to 85. And we're now approaching Essen Station. That really tall building on the right hand side, that seems to be just a feature next to a lot of very big German stations. I'm going to start slowing off. I'm going to enter the platforms at no more than 50 because we know there's a red aspect at the end, or we're expecting a red aspect at the end. So what that will mean is we need to be at 45, passing one of the magnets, and then a bit slow later on. So you can see we've got a 110 entering the platform. We need to start roughly at the end. So welcome to Essen. You can see that's the DOS docs on the right hand side, on the left hand side there, correction. That is the alternative to these coaches, which is what we've now got added to the game. Two types, first and second class accommodations, which is quite nice. Okay, cooking it a bit too much in here. I'm just going to stop up against the signal. I'll stop about here. There we go. The train's now stopped. So unlock the doors on the left hand side. We're due away from here in about a minute's time. So you can just take a look outside at the externals of the train. As I say, the shape I personally think is done quite well. The sounds I can't comment on, so I've been on behind one of these, and the coaches are really quite nice too. I love the train supply cables that have been modelled, and yeah, it's quite nice. I like it a lot. It would be nice to see these lights lit up, because I think the only formation is first, and the rest of the train is second class. You can see the first class accommodation is also thingy, compartment style. So it's going to call it a coupe style, which is the Czech word for it is coupe. But yeah. Okay, we've got about 30 seconds left, I think. Yeah, that's about right. It's one of the awkward things about train simulators. You have to control your own doors, so you have to sort of have an idea of the timings when you do videos like this. So I'm just using this for my timing times. So yes, apart from that, that's the cab tour pretty much complete. Just realised I haven't got the bonus points for that. Also, the PZB, Lzb controls there on the back wall here, those were turned on, and the headlight controls are there. Right, that'll be time to go, so close the doors. Unfortunately, I can tell you, this route was, there you go, got the route set for us. So I can tell you for free, this part of the, this timetable, sorry, was written by Matt Ped. Because he's made a mistake that I know, and it's always his signature move. But yeah, I'll send him a private nudge. Yeah, basically Train Sim World has a feature called Dispatch Beyond. So there we go. We can clear out. So we're now leaving Essen. Our next stop is Bochum in about 15 kilometers. Our start speed's 110, but we go up to 130 pretty rapidly. So you can see I'm just going to pull. You can see. When I'm in high power setting, you can hear that whistling sound. That's the wheel spinning. You can't see any sparks flying or anything, but yeah. So we're going to go up to 130 now. So the safety systems that are in play, you can see there'll be a light lights up here for the CIFA. if I ignore it long enough, a man will shout at me and start saying "Sifa, Sifa," and if I don't, I didn't need to press that button. I don't know why I pressed it. He'll say "Sifa, Sifa," and if I don't acknowledge it in time, he'll apply the emergency brakes. What that is that's basically like a DSD system. So the idea is it just makes sure I'm conscious and awake. And yeah, that applies every 30 seconds. After that, we've also got the PZB system. See, there you go, it just happened there. So as well as that, we've got the PZB system, which is these controls over here. From left to right, you've got PZB acknowledge. That is basically when we go past a warning signal or a warning sign. That's saying I'm aware of it, I know it's coming. There's then the middle one, which is PZB release, which is when we get dropped into restricted monitoring, which is basically speed control. That comes as part of the PZB system. Then we stop booking at this much. So basically we can release out of that when the system says we can, basically. So yeah, when the system says we can release out of that, we can. And then the delete key on the keyboard is PZB override. So when we go through a danger signal, then we can basically override saying, yeah, we understand we need to go through this, the signal's bust, kind of thing. Stops you getting, not being able to go anywhere, basically. Now, as we clear off here, we are going down the Wattenscheid line. The line does split between Essen and Bochum. This is the Wattenscheid line that's taken by the Express and the RE trains, and this is the local line taken by the S-Bahn trains. So, let's have a look. Let's just check our mileposts. Yeah, we are well past it now. So yeah, so we can now go straight up to 160. 160 is around 100 miles an hour. But it's like 101. But 160 is the fastest speed we can go in any train on the German network without Lzb Signaling. Lzb Signaling, of course, is this thing in front of us, in the middle. And what that does is that is sort of like we've driven with it before, but it is basically it is basically a sort of specialised signalling system. So we know that, right? A bootler would be telling us. Well, basically, the note format I use is very similar to what a bootler would be like in reality. So the idea is, if I hadn't driven this route before, I could load a bootler up, and it would tell me all the speed limits and sort of stations that station stops and stuff, which is quite a cool system in my opinion. There we go, bit of power back on. No, I'm an override. So if you apply brake with the power on, it basically locks the power out. So you have to pull power back to idle and then put it back on again. But with the way Trains and World works, it's just that feels like it should be the stop. That's min power, so it goes back a little further. You see, it holds there. So you go right, I'm there, and release. Whereas you shouldn't. So the next station looking out for is Wattenscheid station, because there is a 140 limit thereafter. This is it coming up. So power off, hard on the brake. We got this 140, we made it in time. It's really quite aggressive there. Going back on the power to control us and keep us as close to 140 as I can. Now 140 is our speed limit until we rejoin the main line, or until we rejoin the S-Bahn route, sorry. And that is really quite close to Duisburg, to Bochum at that point, correction. That's a bit of a strange phenomenon. Interesting. Got a bit of fog coming in. A bit of mist, sorry. That's quite cool, actually. So I put a little bit of, I've basically used a custom weather theme for this. So the idea is it's the evening of sort of day wet, so there's been a few showers. Just don't ignore the speed. And I put the wetness up a little bit, and you can see it's created a bit of a mist. That is cool. I didn't realise the game was that clever. Because you've got a little bit of wind, a little bit of cloud cover, a little bit of wetness, no precipitation, basically. The idea was just to create a bit of wheel slip conditions. So I've got the white light, and we're rejoining the main. you go, so we're now rejoining the S-Bahn route. Now, the speed limit was actually 160 back there, but I am not going to accelerate now because I know we are approaching Duisburg. As we're about 1.9k to go, which is a little over a mile. And if you guys remember my sort of rough maths, yeah, 100 miles to slow down, 1 mile. So yeah, yeah. I'm actually relying on my notes quite a minimal amount here. So speed brake on. We've got a super Einflussung because we need to get down to 85 again for a restricted monitoring approach into Bochum station. The station that S-Bahn train is parked in is Essen. Sorry, correction. It's Bochum Ehrenfeld, and that is about 1 kilometre to go. So you can see that 120 limit. That's actually as we enter the platform. So I've just been able to release out of that, so I can drop my power back, and then put the power back open a bit more. Oh no, we've got the yellow here, so it's 85 from here. So we got back into the restricted monitoring approach, which is fine. You can see the station ahead of us there. So the way the markers work on this, I think, has been set up incorrectly. So I'm going to stop where it looks like I should stop, rather than where the game tells me to stop. Yeah, so the service we've been operating today, by the way, was the IC 2016 Duisburg to Bochum service. See another Dostok hanging out over there. Unfortunately, the way that the services are quite sparse, so you don't actually get to see any other 101s as you're driving anything. As you're you don't basically see a 101 going the other way, kind of thing. That's fine. So we're just going to stop at the end of the covered area here. So as we draw up, I'm just going to put a bit of brake on. You can see the rear static braking not kicking in, just air braking at this point. So we're going to stop at the end of the covered area here. There we go. So we're stopped, we'll release the doors. Just going to stand up. So yes, as I say, cab setup wise, actually, well, we're going to be giving the train to another driver. So I'm just going to actually put that into neutral. And I'm just going to wait and see. So yes, the 101 does just look gorgeous in my opinion. Looks gorgeous. I mean, I love the level of dirt here. You know, that's quite rare actually. You know, if you look at other DB trains, those are pretty pristine. You know, whereas these look like they've been around a bit, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I like it. I like it a lot. Grab a potential thumbnail out there. Go check. Got a little while left. So, yeah. Nothing really left for us to do. What we can do is we can secure the cab. So that goes like that. We can then turn the brake key and lock the brakes on. And then let them off. So that means basically the brakes stay applied. That's that. That's that. That's the wiper controls. That's the emergency brake controls down there. Yeah. I'm just like, I can't really think of anything else that needs to be done. So, lock the doors. We'll do that. Whilst the doors lock, I'll put that. The service is going to end, and I'm going to get the notification, which is absolutely fine. 25 minutes it took us. Got the gold. Did a little bit of speeding by accident, but oh well. Yeah, you can see I drove quite cautiously towards the end, but we got there. You know, we were a minute late on arrival, which is absolutely cool. No, we were a minute early, so we did really well. Right, let's quickly dive in here. So I'm going to continue. I'm just going to quickly return to free roam. It's a really quite finicky click spot. It's fine, we'll leave it for the next driver. Anyway, guys, I'm going to close the door behind me. There we go. And I'm going to go and get a train home. But yeah, I'm going to do a proper video with these coaches as well. I'll probably do like a passenger mode video on Hamburg-Lübeck. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.